Welcome race fans, welcome back to NAGP TV for our GT1 Thursday night series, coming to you live this week from Monza. It looks like we're going to have a pretty good field this week. A lot of the drivers are back out. For those of you who caught the action last week, it was a furious ride last week at Brno with slippery Thiago Canola taking the win, David Poel in second, Kevin Savoie in third. Lots of battles going on last week. Expect them to keep on going again this week. In the leaderboard there we have David Poel out in front with 36 points. Aaron Parsons in second, 33. Brad Merys with 28. Andres Prieto with 28. Thiago Canola with 26. David Canovan with 23. Chris Moses with 22. Leung with 21. John Sportelli with 18. And Kevin Savoie with 18. Looks like it's going to continue to be a tight race here in the GT1 class. A little housekeeping to look after. We've got a few drivers that are carrying some ballast around this week. We've got Thiago Canola. He's going to be carrying 40 Ks or 88 pounds. David Poel with 30 Ks or 66 pounds. And Kevin Savoie taking 20 kilos or 44 pounds for success ballast. A little note here, Bjorn Heyman is carrying 20 Ks or 44 pounds for a penalty. Small infraction he had with contact with Andres Prieto, costing Andre a couple of positions. All's good though. And let's take you out onto the track. Not much of a surprise here to see Chris out in front with the early lead in qualifying. Showed some real speed there in the early practices as we were watching along. Still early, we've got 20 minutes of qualifying left. And there's Jarrod Keen, currently in P3 in qualifying. Jarrod has shown some great practice race pace here early. Really got that car tuned up. Just as I said, broadcaster's curse takes effect and pushes Jarrod right off the track. But I'm sure he's going to do quite well. He's got that car hooked up pretty good tonight. Just a little reminder to all you NAGP fans, come on out. We've got racing on Mondays, we've got racing Thursdays, and get into the Saturday thread. We've got some new exciting things happening coming up shortly for Saturdays with the Champ Car Series. Get in on the thread, post your thoughts, and let's hope we can get the Champ Car Series up and running very shortly. Little background here as we watch the drivers continue to try to put down some hot laps. Monza track was opened in September 1922. There's been 8 variations of the track. In the current configuration, it is 3.6 miles or 5.793 kilometers with a total of 8 turns. A little side note here, 87 people have been killed at the track, 52 drivers and 35 spectators. This is a track with very long straightaways, some tight chicanes, the curbing is bumpy, and the Variante Ascari is key to maintaining some good lap speed. The lap record is held by one Pablo Montoya, 1:19.525. hot lap. Let's follow him around. Big long straight off the start finish into Variante del Rettifilo. I'm going to crucify these names tonight. This is a real tight one. Onto the Curve Grande. And this is pretty hard all the way around this corner. Coming into a pretty hard braking zone here for the Variante della Roggia. Another tight right-hander here. Hard back on the gas. Turn 5, another tight right-hander. Leading onto the curve at Sergiello. And here it is. This is the one, the Variante Ascari, that is considered as being one of the keys to maintaining a real good lap time here. Nice and clean Fronto through there. 4/100s off the pole pace right now. Coming into the curva, Parabolica. And hard at it. Let's see how he does. I think Andre had a little bit of a glitch there at the last second. There's no way he was seconds off the pace there. Juan Monroy in the Aston Martin, currently sitting in P25. And actually slipping a little bit, Juan. George Azevedo in the 46 Ferrari. Bit of a loop there, George. Andre Cole in 14th. Greg Myers back in the pits for some adjustments in P13. Alessandro Smith currently sitting in P12. Andrew Werner in the McLaren F1, currently in P12. John Sollberger. John in the Aston Martin, currently sitting in P11. Coming around to finish out his lap, so let's see how he finishes. Actually losing a position there, John. Jarrod has slipped down to P11. See, he's got his crew working on the car. Let's see if he can get that back up and do a little better there. He's had some great success the last couple of races in GT1 and in the GT2. Way to go, Jarrod. Andres Prieto put on a great show for us last week, folks. The battle between him and Moses was unbelievable. He's currently sitting in P10 there. Chasing his teammate around. Lauren Weisman, P9. And Brad Merys, co-host of the Monday night broadcast. Thanks for all your efforts there, Brad. We really enjoy the broadcast you put on Monday night. A real treat. Let's ride around with Brad. lap T9. Way to go, Brad. Tonight's race is going to go about 43 laps. Look for some action above midpoint, anywhere from 21 to 24 laps. For the pit action, see if some of these guys, like Chris Moses, that pit wizard, can pull off some miracles there. Kevin Savoie early in P7. David Canola in P6, resting in the pits there. And Thiago Canola in the Ford GT in P5. John Sportelli showed some good pace earlier in the practice sessions before we went live to air. Looking for John and Thiago to put it all together in this one. David Poel, P3, no surprise there. He's used to running up the front. And a good showing, Eiran Parsons in P2. Good to see Eiran running up here. Yeah, it looked like he was struggling a little bit in the last race. And Mr. Moses currently sitting on the pole position. Let's just take a jump over the timing board and see how it's all playing out. Well, no surprise. Chris Moses in P1 has practically got every sector nailed down. He's got the fast pace in sector 1, 2, and the fast lap time. Let's just follow Eiran around and see how he's doing on his next split time. A little off, going to be hard pressed to catch Chris at this point. David Poel starting his hot lap. Just barely keeping enough on the curbing there, David. At about 8/100ths of a second off the time in the first sector there. And let's see how Mr. Parsons can finish this one out. Not enough this time. currently sitting in P4. John coming up to a split time. Yeah, we'll have to see if he can pick up the pace and squeeze out a P3. It's a second off the lead. John keeps this up. He might pick up a slot. Pick up a spot. He lost a spot. David Poel currently sitting in fourth. Aaron Parsons in third. Chris Moses has dropped to second with Kevin Savoie taking the pole. This will put the pressure on these boys. Well, we've only got about 6 minutes left in qualifying. Enough for some of these guys to get out and do one out lap and one hot lap. Looks like Mr. Parsons is not going to be doing it on this lap. David Poel currently in P4. John Sportelli, P5. Thiago Canola, right behind his teammate P6. David Canavan up to P7. John Sollberger in the Aston Martin, P8. Andres Prieto, P9. Andrew Werner, P10. Lauren Weisman, P11. And Brad Merys in P12. Brad and Andre keeping those two Fords pretty close together on the grid. Greg Myers up P13. Attaboy, Greg. Big Al the Boss Merriman up to P14. Jarrod Keen showed great speed earlier. Hopefully he's got some great race pace in him, and it's P15, still sitting in the points. Juan Monroy, P16. Andre Cole, P17. George Azevedo, P18. Sam Rolfe. Gee, Sam's been improving greatly this year, both in the Monday night and Thursday night. Way to go, Sam. P19. And the Gup Douglas, P20. Alessandro Smith in P21. Krajnik Halili in P22. Leung. Sol's had a great race last week. Placed 5th, I believe. Had a great Monday night race as well. Way to go, Sol. John McIntyre down in P24. Marco Conti in P25. Sort of surprised to see Marco all the way down here. Scott Andrew in P26. Bjorn Heyman, P27. Tony Akins, P28. Rob Thaeler, P29. And there's your leader so far, folks. Kevin Savoie. Not a surprise, Kevin made it to the podium last week in third position. Kevin has dropped to P2. Mr. Parsons has taken the pole. With only 2 minutes and 49 seconds left, it is going to be real tough. See if anybody else can take that away from him. Kevin going to try and put in one more lap. Chris Moses on a hot lap. Chris got enough time for one more run. Brad Merys sitting in P4. Looks like he's going to wait this one out. David Poel in P5. John Sportelli back to P6. And teammate Thiago Canola right behind him. Let's go back up to the front and see if anybody's going to catch Mr. Parsons. Well, let's jump back up the leaderboard. That might be enough to do it. John Sportelli just finishing out his last gasp, currently in P6. And Sportelli pulls off to a P2, and Canavan is up to P8. Well, way to go, John Sportelli. What a ride you had, and pulled it out at the last minute. This is quite impressive, folks. You take a look at that leaderboard there. We've got Eiran Parsons at a 141.326. And if you take a look at the board, you can go all the way down to Jarrod Keen in P15 at 142.339. That's less than 1 second and the first 15 positions on the grid. This is unbelievable. Well, we're getting into our 2-minute rejoin. Oh, we've got, looks like Nick Johnson has just joined up. Now, this is a fella here that is showing all sorts of speed. Caught everybody, not everybody, but caught a lot of us. It caught me by surprise at how fast this Nick Johnson was and where the heck he came from. Nick is racing out of California. And, boy, this guy can carry speed. So, watch for Nick here. I don't know what Nick's driving. Let's get in and see if we can take a look. Looks like Nick's driving the number 4 car. We're going to keep our eye on him. Well, there you have it, folks. Eiran Parsons nailed down the pole. He is only, unbelievable, 5/100ths of a second behind John Sportelli. We got Parsons in P1, Sportelli in P2, Savoie in P3, Moses P4, Brad Merys in P5, David Poel in P6, Andrew Werner P7, David Canola in P8, Thiago Canola in P9, and John Sollberger in P10. That is one heck of a top 10 grid tonight, folks. Hang on to your helmets. This is going to be a great race. Moving on from that, Andres Prieto in P11, Laurent Weisman P12, Al Merriman, Big Al LaBosse back in P13. Gregory Myers sitting in 14, right behind him. Look out, Al. Greg is going to be all over you. Jarrod Keen in P15, Juan Monroy in P16, Andre Cole in P17, Sam Rolfe. P18, George Azevedo, P19, Gup Douglas. Covers in P20, Marco Conti down in P21, Kreshnik Halili in P22, Sol Leung in P23. A little surprise there, Sol. Expected you to be up a little closer to the front. I know you're going to make your way back up there, though. John McIntyre in P24, Scott Andrew. P25, Rod Thaeler in P26, Bjorn Heyman. P27, Tony Akins. P28, Alessandro Smith in P29, and Lou Masciarelli in P30. Jon Wathen rounds out the crew in P31. We're going to start a bit of a warm-up here. I'm sure the drivers are going to go out and make sure they've got all their setups ready to go. Probably check out the pit entrance, which is a little dicey here, as they always are. Got to watch that for pit lane violations. Let's ride around for a little bit with Liquid Lou Masciarelli. Lou Masciarelli, he's driving the McLaren F1. Lou's driving out of Bellingham, Massachusetts. Great long time NAGP supporter, runs the Mondays and the Thursdays. Monday night I share a chat room with Lou. Thanks a lot, Lou, for having me along in your chat room, and great fun to be racing with you, and nice to get you some TV time there. while they're doing their warm-up, we got a few minutes left to warm up. And let's just take it back to the garage for a second, and I just want to let everybody know, NAGP, we again run Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. NAGP is funded by your donations. Please help us out. Give us a small donation. Every little bit helps. It costs money to put these on, to keep the servers running, to keep Big Al going, and all the rest of the admins. Oh, Lou, you missed that pit entrance there. There we go. Let's see if John can take us around the track for a little bit. So get your PayPals opened up and give us a small donation. Keep this all going. We have a lot of fun here. If you'd like to join us for driving Monday, Thursday, or Saturday, give the admins a holler. Jump into one of the threads. Get the track packs, car packs, any other patches and paraphernalia you need. We'll help you out with that and get you on your way to joining the action. The grids are full and there's lots of action, lots of competition at just about every level. Whoa, Johnny sort of lost her there, creating a bit of havoc out there. And there you go, Mr. Parsons in a Ferrari 550. Aaron Parsons hails out of Australia. One of our resident computer experts here, willing to help everybody out anytime he can on computer advice, and one of the more talented drivers we've had in the NAGP. I might say just an all-around nice guy too. Like I mentioned earlier, folks, last week's race at Bernal was a barn burner. I'm looking for more nose-to-tail action from start to finish on this one. Sorry, I've only got one of us here tonight. Mikey is not able to join us tonight. Sorry about that. A little shout-out to Mikey. Hope you're back next week. Pretty lonely up here with just one person in the booth, but I know you held it down all last year by yourself there, Mikey. Way to go. Thanks for your efforts. Andres Prieto, racing out of Colombia. Gave us a great show last week, chasing Moses down for the whole race. Way to go, Andre. John Sportelli, another one always in the action. Kevin Savoie. And Chris Moses. Chris led the battle there last week with Andres Prieto, and that was, what a show that was. I still can't get over how those guys drove that close and that hard together for that long during the race. Well, we've only got a few seconds left to warm up, and then we'll be going to race. Sit back, grab yourself a little beverage, and get ready to be entertained. Well, as we just take a little bit of time here, the drivers are now getting the instructions from the competition committee. They're going to try and keep the first lap as clean as possible, give everybody the opportunity to get the race settled down and get a race in. And we're getting ready now, folks, for the start of NAGP. Thursday, GT1, live from Monza. And the grid is filling up, and we're looking for a speedy, clean start to this race. We're going down to the first chicane, right de filo, and they're getting ready now. 10 seconds to go. The grid's full. Parsons stretching out a lead early, give us some clear ground into the first chicane. Chris Moses able to take second, a little bit of a cut there. We're going to have to watch those cuts. John Sportelli in third, chased closely by Brad Merys. John able to stretch those legs away and get away. David Poel. David Canola has put a pass on him. Taking a look at Brad Merys. Not enough there. David Canola into 5th. David Poel into 6th. Andrew Werner into 7th. Thiago Canola into 8th. John Sollberger into 9th with Andres Prieto in 10th. Myers up to 11. Al Merriman in 12. Looks like he got around Al. Lauren Weisman in 13. George Azevedo in 14. Jarrod Keen, 15 in the points. Andre Cole, 17. Sam Rolfe, 18. Mark O'Connor up to 19. Gup Douglas into 20. Freshnik Khalili, 21. 22's Rob Thaler. 23, John McIntyre. 23 is Sol Leung. Scott Andrew in 24. Tony Aikens, 25. Alessandro Smith, 26. Lou Masciarelli, 27, making a pass there. And Jon Wathen, 28. Juan Monroy in 29th. Aaron Parsons stretching his legs out there, got some clean track. We're going to have to watch these cuts here, folks. These could be crucial later on. Chris Moses up to P2, followed closely by John Sportelli and Brad Merys. David Canola up to P5. David Poel in P6. Andrew Werner in P7. As he's going around the corner there, Andrew Werner. Poel into P6. Canavan in P5. Top 4 drivers facing themselves out a little bit here. John Sportelli up to P3. And Chris Moses in the P2 position. Well, Sportelli will definitely not want to let Chris Moses and Aaron Parsons get too far out in front. All that clean track seems to be playing right into Mr. Parsons' hand as Chris Moses is pressing hard to stay in contact. John Sportelli being pressed hard by Brad Merys. Let's go on board with Brad. A pair of Ford GTs battling it out. Sorry, it sounds like we're losing a couple of drivers. Short on camera crew and broadcast crew tonight. We won't be able to check that out right now. Canavan hot on the heels of Brad. Canavan in the Lister Storm. Poel in P6 behind David Canavan. And Andrew Werner in behind him. Great race for 5, 6, 7 going on here. Thiago Canola in P8 behind the two teammates, Poel and Werner. Andres Prieto up to P9. And Big Al Marion up to P10. Greg Myers, P11. Watch for Greg to slowly make his way up there. Andre Cole into P12. We got a good battle going on here. Andre Cole, Sam Rolfe, Jarrod Keen at P14 picked up a spot. And Marco Conti up to P16, P15. Rob Thaeler, P16. And Gup Douglas moving up nicely into P17. Just one out of the points. Go Gupper. John Sollberger up to P18 with Leung hot on his heels. Boy, oh boy, you can bet Sol is going to be pushing for that position. Let's get on board with Sol. Sol's got a good run off that last Variante Ascari coming into the Parabolica. Boy, that Aston's got the straight line speed. Just not enough for Sol to get into the draft. Going to have a look here. John McIntyre in P20. Scott Andrew, P21. Juan Monroy in P22. There's great action all around this track, folks. Alessandro Smith in P23. Jon Wathen, P24. And Lou Masciarelli down to P25. Tony Akins, P26. And Lauren Feisman in P28. Not quite sure what's going on with Lauren out there tonight, but we'll keep an eye on him. There's your leader, Mr. Parsons. Whoa. You can see that gap there, folks. Chris does not want to let him get too far away, or we may find Mr. Parsons just check out and run away with this race. It is still way early. We got a total of 43 laps. Got a long way to go, but that's quite the lead this early on. Chris sliding that car around pretty good. Top 4 cars, still all in contention. Parsons, Moses, Sportelli, and Merys. Great run by Brad so far. And Canavan up to 5th, with David Poel all over the back of him. And Andrew Werner, teammate, working with David. Battling 4, 5, 6. No, Canavan was a little bit of a wobble. Might give David a bit of a run on him here. Poel all over the back of Canavan. Can he keep up the pressure? That's racing right on the edge, folks. That McLaren seems to have some straight line speed over that Celine, but they just can't get up close enough to get a draft off him. And Thiago in behind the two teammates. He's not letting them out of the way either. We'll keep our eyes on Thiago. He's been a marvelous addition to this NAGP crowd. Superior top end speed. It looks like he's getting his strategy together and becoming a real dominating threat. Big Al up into P8. Greg Myers into P9. Right hunting down Big Al with Andres Prieto in P10. Look out, Gregory. Prieto's not going to let you get away. Andre Cole up to P11. And Sam Rolfe. Great run, Sam. Sam has been improving this year like unbelievable. Hats off to you, Sam. You're doing a great job. Looks like you got that Lambo stroked right out tonight. But Jarrod Keen, my Monday night teammate, looking to put a pass on him. Jarrod got a bit of a lead, but on the outside, takes him in the chicane for P12. Beautiful pass. Looks like Sam in the Lambo has a little bit of legs on the straight bits. Sam as he chased down Jarrod Keen. Marco Conti. Marco running the Maserati MC12. Followed in hot pursuit by Rob Thaeler. Marco wobbling that Maserati out in front of Rob. Looks like Rob's got a bit of a run on him. Rob's going to take him on the inside. Hang on to it, Rob. Great pass. Marco looking for the old over-under. But it looks like Rob's going to be able to hang on in a position. Looked like Marco's been struggling tonight with trying to get the speed down on that Maserati. Gup Douglas up into paying points. Way to go, Gupper. P16. Gupper in the number 47 Ferrari F40. I think Gup is... Oh, we've got an off there. Mr. Parsons still in P1. Chris Moses, P2. John Sportelli into P3. Kahneman into P4. Poel into P5. And Thiago Canola up into P6. Taking a spot away from Andrew Werner. We missed a little bit of that action trying to get everybody into the picture there. Big Al up into P8. Chasing Werner down. pushing that car hard through the Variante Ascari. Gonna need to get a little closer to grab a draft, though. Andres Prieto keeping Big Al and the rest of the guys in their sights. From Ireland, up into P4. John Sportelli, out of Liverpool, New York, up into P3. And Chris Moses. Quite a gap there between Chris and John. And Mr. Parsons. Looks like he might be checking out a little bit here. I'm just going to pop over to the leaderboard. Let's take a look at the gaps. Well, here you go, 5 seconds between Mr. Parsons and Mr. Moses. Sportelli another 3 seconds behind Chris Moses. 6 seconds back is Canavan, and then we're in tight. Poel, Canola, Werner, Merriman, Prieto. Quite the battle going on there. And back farther, we've got Thaeler and Jarrod Keen in quite the battle as well. Conti and Gup Douglas back in it too. There are races all over the board here. Let's jump in with David Poel. Thiago, Werner, Merriman, and Prieto. This is a battle shaping up here. Big Al closing the gap. Just can't get on the tail to grab a draft. As I said before, folks, they're going to have to watch their cuts. We got a 10% cut rule in effect. They'll be reviewed afterwards. Big Al. all over the back of Al as well. Werner, Merriman, Prieto. Great racing here. And we know Andre can keep the pressure on for the whole race. Grabbing a great draft off Al. Having a look on the inside. All bunched up. This is great racing, folks. Andre looking for a way around. Probably thinks Al's holding him up, and I think he's got him on this one. That Ford just seems to have the power down the back. Having a big look on the inside. Whoa, we've got a stunt car there. Thank God it didn't cause any problems. Just enough to give Al a bit of breathing room. Prieto on the power pretty quick. Maybe a little too quick there. As you can see there, folks, sort of spreading themselves out. P1, Eiran Parsons. P2, Chris Moses. John Sportelli. P3. Canola. And we have got a freight train of cars after Poel. Poel, Canola, Werner, Merriman, Prieto. Greg Myers up to P10, closing the gap, slowly making his way up through the field. Andre Cole, P11. Sam Rolfe in P12. Way to go, Sam. Jarrod Keen up to P13. Chasing down the Lambo of Sam. Rob Thaeler, P14. Marco Conti in the points at P15. And John Sollberger in the Aston Martin in P16. Gup Douglas just one out of the points, chasing Sollberger down. Go Gupper. Scott Andrew hot on the heels of Gup Douglas as well. And Brad Merys down to P19. Alessandro Smith chasing down Brad. Lou Masciarelli down to P21 with Juan Monroy hot on his heels. Leung, P23. John McIntyre, P24. Jon Wathen back in P25. And Lauren Weisman back in P26. A little surprise there. Krishna Kalili in P27. There he is, your leader. Let's just jump over the leaderboard. $17 laps so far. Another 4 or 5 or 6 laps, we're going to see them coming in. Eiran Parsons has got a 7-second lead over Chris Moses, who is 4 seconds out in front of Sportelli. And another 7 or 8 seconds between Sportelli and Canavan. They're gapping themselves out. The real battle on here, folks, is going from P5 onwards. David Poel, Al Merriman, Andres Prieto, Thiago Canola, Werner, and Gregory Myers. Look for him. He's up to P10. Look for him to keep the pressure on. Let's jump on board now with David Poel. Bunch of action going on here, folks. P5 to P8 with Werner in 8, Prieto in 7, Merriman in 6. Oh! We've got a spin. There. This is some great action side by side. A little bit of contact there. Poel's able to hang on to it. He spun and lost position, and Prieto is all over him. Andre having a good look. I think he's got him. He's definitely got him, folks, if he can hang on to it. Oh. A little bit of a spin there, a wobble. Whoa. David Poel getting a little out of shape has let Prieto run away with it. Settle down, Mr. Poel. Teammate Werner behind. Got safety there. But here we go for a pass coming up here. Greg Myers smells blood back in P9. Closing up on teammates Poel and Werner. Poel is into the pits. I think he's collected some damage. Greg Myers closing up nicely, going for a pass. Having a look, backing off a little bit. I think Greg smells blood. Hammer time. Gets the dip to go around. Greg Myers takes P7. Great show of sportsmanship there from Andrew Werner. Probably knew he didn't have the pace to hold him off. So Gregory Myers has taken P7. Andres Prieto into P6. And Big L, the bus, Merriman, up to P5. Looks like he got some clean track ahead of you, Al. David Canavan clean open track in front of David, P4, along with John Sportelli in P3. Chris Moses up to P2. This is about where they started the race with Chris in P2. And your front runner, Mr. Parsons. Big happy smile on his face. There he is, Mr. Parsons, your race leader. In the Ferrari 550, Eiran racing out of Australia. Chris Moses sweating it out. Chris driving the Ferrari 575, racing out of Toledo, Ohio. John Sportelli in the Ford GT1 out of Liverpool, New York. Currently sitting in a final podium position. I think we've got some pit action there as Sportelli has just gone into first place. Let's just, Parsons in the pit. Moses in the pit. Sportelli has stayed out. We've got a lot of pit action now. Prieto in the pit. Jarrod Keen off the track. Might be time for some new rubber on that one, Jarrod. Get her back on there, get her safe. Lost a position or two there. Gup Douglas up to P12 through the pit exchange in the pits. Scott Andrew up to 13 through the pit cycle. John Sollberger, a little bit of action there between the Astons in the pit area there. Sollberger and Monroy swapping paint there. John McIntyre still out running, 14. Rob Thaeler in the pits. This pit rotation will tell the whole story though, folks. On board with Solon. Solon chasing down Jarrod Keen. Big wobble there by Sol. Hang on to her. Jon Wathen. John was running, or listed to run the Viper. It looks like he's in the Koenigsegg. I'm not sure he's finding that all to his satisfaction though. Andre Cole back at P26. Grejnik Kalili, P27. And stay on the field, Marco Conti. Looks like he's taken over. Provisional first place position until all the pit stops cycle through. Marco Conti. Sometimes Racing is Corrado Conti, driving the Maserati MC12 out of California. Scott Andrew also hasn't taken a pit stop yet. Scott driving the big Aston Martin. And Mr. Parsons currently showing in P3. We know that'll change as soon as the other drivers pit. And Chris Moses not that far behind him. Let's just go to the leaderboard and see how the split is between these two guys. I know Chris is what I would call a pit wizard, and if anybody could have closed that gap there, down to about 5 seconds. So he's picked up a couple of seconds there on Mr. Parsons. He's going to need every bit of it. If Eiran can keep the pace he's shown in the first half, it is going to be very, very hard to get by without an incident. But we still have lap traffic coming up, and that can always be exciting. And it looks like the drivers have just about cycled through their pit rotation, putting Mr. Parsons back up in front of the pack. Chris Moses back to P2. Lauren Weisman into P3. I'm not sure Lawrence pitted yet. We got David Canavan in P4 coming up to some lap traffic, giving him the dip of the headlights. And a blue flag, and he gets by. John Sportelli in P5. I think it was Mr. Halili, Krishna Halili. I think he had put his car off there to let them by. Greg Myers up to P6. Not a real surprise. Greg's one of the smoothest guys to drive in the line. Very consistent. Big Al Merriman, P7. And Poel in P8. Canola, P9. And Prieto in P10. This is going to be a battle to the end. Right to the end of the race. There's probably more positions going to be changed here, folks. Thiago carrying quite a bit of speed into the corner there. He might be just close enough to grab a draft. He's working that draft. He's taking a look on the inside. Oh, a little tiny bit of contact there. And that's allowed Andres Prieto to climb up the back of Thiago Canola. Two big Fords chasing down the McLaren. Canola, Prieto, Werner, 8, 9, 10, 11. Quite a battle going on here. Looks like Poel's got a little bit of a breathing space between them. But Thiago's going to try to outbreak him. Oh, and gets caught. And Prieto trying to go on the inside. Right up behind him. Just couldn't put the hammer down. Unbelievable close racing. I think Andre's got a run at him. Oh, and away he goes. And Andre is by Thiago Canola, but Thiago back up at him. This is unbelievable. Yes, that little bit of an incident has allowed Andrew Werner to close the gap and close in on these guys, on these two. Two big Fords powering their way around Monza, putting on quite a show for us tonight, folks. Grabbing the draft, taking a look on the inside again. Side by side as they come down to the chicane. Oh, contact again. And Werner right up behind him. Incredible action here. Like we mentioned earlier, the racing all isn't up at the front, 1 and 2, but we're going to check back in with the race leaders. Looks like they're giving themselves a bit of a breather, and we will too. Let's just head on over to the leaderboard. Mr. Parsons holding about a 5-second lead over Chris Moses, and quite the gap between Sportelli and Moses. Canavan and Sportelli got themselves about 4 seconds. Greg Myers all the way up to 5th. Attaboy, Greg, way to go. Only about 7 seconds back to Canavan. 6 seconds back is Al Merriman, and about 9 seconds back is David Poel. The big battle going on here is just as I called it. 8, 9, and 10, Prieto, Canola, and Werner. We also have a battle going on with Alessandro Smith and Sam Rolfe. Let's jump back in and see if we can grab Alessandro and Sam Rolfe and see how their battle's shaping up back there. Sam Rolfe driving the Lamborghini, chasing down Alessandro Smith. He's driving the Corvette C5R. Sam having a look on the inside. Not close enough. And right behind them in P14, Rob Thaeler, keeping these guys in sight. Probably hoping the two of them tangle up a little bit and allow him to close that gap. And Marco Conti in P15, still in the points. Keeping that battle in front of him. Marco driving the Maserati MC12. Jarrod Keen in the points. Attaboy, Jarrod. You keep pressing. Got Conti in his sights and going to press on through to the finish. Lauren Weisman up to P17. followed closely by John Sollberger in P18. John driving the big Aston. Scott Andrew in P19. Got those two in his sights as well. And as well, P20, John McIntyre. Not far out of it. These four drivers aren't that far out of the points money. There's competition from front to back in this race, folks. Leung looking to pick up the pace here and take that P20 away. Lou Masciarelli in P22. Gup Douglas in P23. Juan Monroy, P24. Andres Prieto, P25. And Kreshnik Halili. Looks like Kreshnik's got some damage there. It looks like the front end of that car is beat to pieces, that Maserati MC12. That's got to be a handful with all that. Oh! Going around, Kreshnik Halili. Folks, I hate to put any sort of predictions on anybody, but Chris has got his work cut out for him to try and chase down Mr. Parsons. Barely in sight from our camera view at the odd time at the straights. And the same picture for John Sportelli in the final podium position. David Canola running in P4. Gregory Myers all the way up to P5. Gregory running out of New Atlantis or New Egypt. I'm not sure which one. I'm not even sure if Gregory knows which one he's running from. Big Al Merriman up to P6. He's got Gregory in sight. You can bet Al is going to press all the way through to the end of this one. David Poel in P7. Prieto, P8. With Thiago behind him still. And Andrew Werner falling a little farther back off the pace of these two. These guys will be exhausted by the end of the race. Nose to tail. For most of the first and most of the second stint. Look pretty evenly matched, and these two drivers apparently are pretty evenly matched in their race pace right now. Looks like we might have a little bit of damage on Prieto's car. Might be affecting his handling. Let's see if we can have a better look at that. Yeah, looks let's take a quick trip back to the leaderboard and see how they're playing out. Canola, looks like he might be taking a look on the inside there. Although Thiago Canola may be chasing down Andres Prieto, I think Andres has just sort of forgotten about him and got his sights set on David Poel. So smooth going through that Variante Escante. Variante Ascari, sorry. I know it's going to massacre the Italian here tonight. Andre seems to be able to gain a bit on the straight bits, but just can't get in close enough to grab a draft. I'm sure he's going to stay hot on him though. Rather quick there. Yeah, they're putting a little bit of room between themselves and Thiago. Both the cars out on the rumble strips. P7, 8, 9, all real close together. They're coming up to some lap traffic, and this is going to be very interesting. Prieto having a good look up by the side by side. Prieto's got him on the outside. Bull not letting him go. What a battle. It's a drag race. Oh, contact. Boy, oh boy, this is unbelievable, folks. Prieto having a look on the inside. Boy, oh boy, they're swapping paint now. Their little bit of a battle has allowed Thiago Canola to close the gap again. And Prieto having another look. Oh, more contact, and Prieto gives up the position. Now Canola is taking over that spot. Prieto falls one back, and now Canola is taking P7. Got quite the run on him. Looking on the inside. Whoa, and knocked him right off the track. Back on. Oh, more contact. Bumping, grinding. Now Prieto's into it. Holy jumper, we've got a three-way battle going on here. This is unbelievable. Prieto and Canola bumping, dragging down. Oh, holy jumping, and Werner has jumped in the fold to take that position away. What an unbelievable battle. Whoa, and Poel comes out of it almost unscathed. Unbelievable. Poel P7, Werner P8, Prieto P9, Thiago Canola P10. Boy, oh boy, these guys are scrapping for it, folks. Canola on the outside takes the position away from Prieto and in. Oh, tight. Holy jumping. Prieto in behind Canola again. What action we've got going on here? I can barely stand it. Prieto got a good jump off that corner. And in and around. Oh, it is. Oh, easy, boys, easy. Don't wreck your race now. Poel, Thiago, Canola, and Prieto battling away, and Werner is running away with that position in front. Catching a little bit of the curving there. Whew. Just trying to catch my breath here, folks. This Poel, Canola, and Prieto battle is unbelievable. What action we've got going here, side by side. We're going to stay right here, folks. This is unbelievable racing. I know there's quite a bit of contact going on, but it looks like this is the way these guys want to have this race, and this is just what I want to see. This is great race action. Looks like Canola might be lagging. Canola has taken the position away from Poel. It's and Andres Prieto has lost it. And that's let David Poel find some clean position, but Thiago Canola has come out on the top of that one and given himself a little bit of breathing room in front of Poel. Brad Merys has taken up to P10. Andres Prieto back on the track. Oh, that car is beat up now. It's beat up on the left side, beat up on the right side, and looks like the left rear quarter as well. What a show, Andre. Way to go. Love the action. Brad Merys, Monday night co-host for the broadcast, up to P10. David Poel, P9, Thiago Canola in the P8. Poel is hunting him down though. And Andrew Werner, Poel's teammate, has been able to take advantage of that three-way battle that was going on there. That was unbelievable, folks. I just loved it. Giving himself a little bit of breathing room. Greg Myers sailing on in P6, trying to chase down Big Al Merriman. P4 for David Canola. John Sportelli in P3. Chris Moses hanging on to his P2, taking full advantage of the curbing there. And there's your race leader. Sorry, Mr. Parsons. You check out like that, you don't give us much TV to broadcast. We haven't been on you much tonight, but a superb drive. We're just going to pop on over the leaderboard and see how much you're embarrassing everybody else. Well, Mr. Parsons has got a 7-second lead over Mr. Moses, and about a 20-second gap between Chris Moses and John Sportelli. David Canola is only 3 seconds behind Sportelli, so there is still some good action that might develop there. Al Merriman, 44 seconds off the lead, with Greg Myers only 3 seconds behind him. Andrew Werner, 10 seconds behind in P7. And we've got that Thiago Canola and David Poel, only a couple of seconds separating them. Brad Merys is another 5 seconds back, and Andres Prieto is lost about 15 seconds to that battle with Canola and Poel. Great racing there, Andre. Sorry to see you get tangled up like that. Rob Thaler in P12, and Jarrod Keen only 9 seconds back. They're still on the lead lap there. Way to go, Jarrod. Bring her on home. We're in lap 38. We've got about 5 laps left. Let's jump on board with the action here. We're going to jump on board with Gregory Myers, who's chasing down Al Merriman. Yep, Greg has got Al in sight. Al, a wily veteran, and the big boss of the NAGP. I'm sure he's going to keep his eye on his XD and heads-up display and make sure he keeps that gap. Gregory Myers, one of our driving instructors here at NAGP. One of the smoothest drivers we have here. Keeps on preaching to all the people who know the track and drive your line. Thanks for all your help, Greg. Looks like you're having a dandy race. Coming up to a bit of lap traffic here. Andrew Werner in P7. Andrew took advantage of all that action going on with his teammate Thiago and Prieto. Thiago trying to close that gap in P8. Surprising, all that action. I would have thought you would have picked up a little bit more damage than that. David Poel back in P9. Car looks good, Dave. Brad Merys into P10. That's his teammate Andres Prieto when Andre lost it here at the Variante Ascari during the scuffle with the other big four. Rob Thaler. Rob having a great run tonight. Rob running the Nissan R35, a right-hand drive car. Rob Thaler is running out of Carroll Valley, Pennsylvania. P12, good showing, Rob. Jarrod Keener, P13. Good showing, Jarrod. Bring it on home. Put her in the points. And Alessandro Smith in the Corvette C5. Alessandro racing out of Argentina. And Marco Conti in the last paying position in P16. So Leung, P17. I know Sol's not going to be happy with that finish. John McIntyre, P18. John in the big Aston. Lauren Weisman, P19. Slowly making your way up there, Lauren, but I'm not sure what has transpired there. Lou Masciarelli, right behind Lauren, in P20. Juan Monroy. Juan Monroy in the Aston Martin. Looks like you might have a little bit of damage on the right rear end of that car, in P21. And Gup Douglas. I think Gup's doing a fill-in job tonight. Running the Ferrari F40, car number 47. Andre Cole, P23. Kreshnik Halili, P25. And your race leader, Eiran Parsons. You can almost see the smile on Aaron's face. Great win. Oh, sorry, Eiran. Don't want to give you the broadcaster's curse. Keep this pace up and you will have a great win. Although it does look like Chris Moses is closing the gap here. I'm just going to jump over the leaderboard and grab this gap. Still about 7 seconds. Actually, Eiran is stretching it out a little bit. Still our big races, Werner and Canola. They're still battling at it. John Sportelli. John in P3. Been sitting there running a great race. Way to go, John. David Canovan. David in P4. Climbed his way up through the pack tonight. Big Al Merriman. Big Al up to P5. And Smooth Greg Myers, P6. Andrew Werner, P7. But Thiago Canola all over the back of him. Let's follow these guys. This could be interesting. Monday night, Thursday night, the Saturday League. These guys never say die. They just love racing. They love the competition. And all they want to do is race with somebody out on the track. It doesn't seem to matter if it's for P1 and P2 or for P22 or P23. They want to get out. They want to race. They want to be competitive. Big shout out to Kurt. Sorry about that. My chat message board is pretty obscure in this resolution that they got me set at. Rally's missed. Oh, yep, he has. It's been a great race. Thanks for chatting in there, Kurt. On board with Thiago. as the race winds down. These drivers probably suffering from a little bit of tire wear. You can see them bobbling around on the corners or on the exits as they try to get the power down. Hats off to the car pack designers in the NAGP. You guys do a great job of making sure all the cars are very competitive and can run with one another from front to back. Thank you very much. We all appreciate it. And folks, I do believe that is it. It looks like we're all done here. Parsons, Moses, Sportelli, Canavan, Merriman, Myers, Werner, Canola, and hats off to Werner, Canola, Prieto, Poel for all the action you gave us. Whew. Great race. Great display by Aaron Parsons. Got out in front and kept it alive. Kept it going all the way through. Well, another great race for NAGP TV and the NAGP Series, Thursday night GT1. My name's Jack Ivey. I want to thank you for tuning in to the broadcast. Thanks for having me along. Come check us out on Monday nights. Check us out on Thursday night. Grab hold of one of those champ cars for Saturday as well. This is Jack Ivey, NAGP TV, signing off. Tune in next Monday.